Meet Skeletor 2.0.
Masters of the Universe is back with another power-packed season, and although its title might feel a bit peculiar to the ear, once you watch all 5 episodes you will understand that the show indeed is one big fast-paced revolution with a happy ending. Picking up right where Revolution ended. Revolution appears to be an effort by Kevin Smith to address and rectify some criticisms fans had about the previous reboot by delivering a lively and vibrant He-Man vs Skeletor narrative. Most of the main characters got a massive power-up by the end of the season, but one character who got not one but almost more than 2 transitions and power-ups was none other than the Lord of Destruction, Skeletor, or should I say Skeletek, because that's what he has transitioned to after the motherboard infects him with the technovirus and appoints him as the forerunner of Hordak's minions in order to conquer Eternia. Now, what are these power-ups? How does he again transform into the most supreme iteration of Skeletor we have seen yet in the Masters of the Universe franchise? With whatever little information we have at our disposal, let's do a breakdown of Skeletor's every transition we saw in the Masters of the Universe Revolution. Before we go into our explanation though, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
Skeletor!
I'd say he's more like Skeletek.
How did Skeletor transform into Skeletek? What did he look like? At the closing scene of Masters of the Universe Revelation, the show focuses on Snake Mountain. Skeletor has been defeated by Adam and is now lashing out on his minions, reprimanding Triclops for not having his back even after his resurrection. Triclops and his minion then attribute their actions to the influence of the motherboard. Of course, our over-the-top skeletal villain does not like sharing the spotlight with anyone else, and so he attempts to attack the idol. Surprisingly, his spell rebounds and the statue transforms into a winged figure that captures Skeletor with electrical tubes and fills him with a mysterious liquid, concluding the season on a mysterious note. Now, the first look for Skeletor as Skeletek in the new season opens as Motherboard sits on a throne and Skeletek goes on to say a monologue addressing the minions of the almighty Motherboard. He mentions how once he always relied on magic, which is why all his pitiful plans fell apart through the years. But the moment he surrendered to the technological touch of the Motherboard, he realized that the futility of his failures was not his fault, but the folly of his faith in magic. Now infused with the technovirus, Skeletek is basically Motherboard's primary minion. He looks as big as he looks when he channeled the power of Grayskull back in Revelation. The hood on his skull now covers half of his face, keeping one cybernetic eye exposed. His covered side is no longer made of skull. It is covered in metal and has a red matrix-like eye. Both his arms seem to be cybernetically enhanced, and he no longer carries the Havoc staff. It seems to be attached to his body, mixing its magic with Motherboard's technology, as the head of the staff is now grafted onto his right hand. We literally see electrical tubes coming out of the head of the staff attached to his hand and infecting the 2-Bad with the technovirus, turning them into Motherboard's minions. Skeletek has electrical wires coursing through his body like cybernetic veins going past his chin and both his arms. Additionally, his legs are no longer made of bones but are actually robotically enhanced and made out of metal, alongside his jaw, which also looks metallic as compared to his bony skull. How did Skeletek utilize his cybernetic hands? Honestly, Skeletek's cybernetic hands are probably the coolest part of his upgrade. It seems like he can do literally anything he wants with it. He could easily use the head of the Havoc staff grafted onto his hands to infect anyone with a technovirus and turn them into Horde's minions. In his first face-off with He-Man as Skeletek, he efficiently shot electric beams out of them, which could easily kill anyone who was not equipped with a weapon. After Skeletek used smoke bombs laced with some sort of nanotechnology to infect multiple innocent Eternians with the technovirus at one go, we saw him mobilize the entire army against He-Man and his crew with just one click. Coming to the Havoc staff, attached to his right hand, it allowed him the remarkable ability to manifest any weapon from his vivid imagination. In Skeletek's initial confrontation with He-Man, he conjured a spazzy circular power saw in a strategic move to counter He-Man's Sword of Power. Adding to the Havoc Staff's arsenal, Skeletek also had the power to beckon colossal techno-titans from the depths of Eternia's core. These mechanical giants, engineered through ancient Gar technology, emerged as kaiju-sized forces at Skeletek's disposal. Even when he was fighting with Hordak, Skeletek skillfully conjured shields to aid him during the confrontation. In the middle of the duel, he revamped and amped up his cybernetic Havoc Staff hand to launch multiple blasts at Hordak. Skeletek finally finished Hordak off by brandishing a lethal sword at the right moment and piercing through his enemy's body. What are the other powers in his arsenal as Skeletek? So, Skeletek's cybernetic legs had the capacity to change into a jetpack whenever he needed to fly. Additionally, like Skeletor could disguise himself into someone else in Revelation, Skeletek could boast the same power and could easily change into Keldor, even when he wasn't aware of Keldor's true origin. After Motherboard rewired Skeletek by bashing his skull on the floor, she unwittingly opened the memory of his true origins as King Miro's illegitimate son Keldor, who was sent away. When his main ego resurfaced, it was the Keldor part of his brain and asked him to take more of a strategic approach rather than taking the impulsive route. Under Keldor's influence, Skeletek was motivated to kill Motherboard and go one-on-one with Hordak, ultimately defeating him. What happened when Skeletek mixed Horde's technology with his dark magical abilities? Even after Lyn snatched the Havoc Staff from him by literally severing his arm, Skeletek was not depowered and devoid of the talisman or any external source to channel magic. He underwent a remarkable transformation. This new iteration of Skeletor seamlessly integrated both magic and technology, evolving into the most powerful and dangerous version of the villain witnessed so far in the franchise. The synthesis of these potent forces rendered him the epitome of power and danger in the ongoing battle against He-Man and his crew. In his final transition, Skeletor's Skeletek persona underwent a remarkable augmentation. His hands and body take on the appearance of a transparent screen, revealing a mesmerizing display of how he seamlessly blends the vibrant hues of magic and technology which were coursing through his entire body. The once half-metallic skull concealed within the hood now was fully exposed, and his eyes radiated a fierce red glow. Skeletor's original purple body also made a return, but this time it was adorned with a regal crown and accented in gold. While his legs retained their metallic composition, they were now more robust and imposing. In a dramatic proclamation, Skeletor declared himself as the undisputed king of Eternia, and as a demonstration of his newfound power, he effortlessly turned Horde's army into his own skeletal minions, solidifying his reign as the supreme force in the ongoing struggle for dominance. In his evolved form as Skeletor 2.0, Skeletor's powers reached new heights. He now had the ability to project potent power beams from both his hands while effortlessly conjuring up any weapon at his disposal. Initiating the battle with a barrage of missiles aimed at Adam, Skeletor boldly introduces himself as the upgraded version of his former self. With a simple snap of his fingers, Skeletor swiftly mobilizes Horde's army to launch an assault on He-Man and his forces. Concurrently, he engages He-Man in relentless combat, manipulating an arsenal of weapons with ease. Further employing an extraordinary ability, Skeletor conjures more hands, doubling the intensity of his attacks on He-Man, and a surreal sight unfolds as 6 floating hands surround him, unleashing a relentless onslaught on his opponent. At one point, he literally turned his hands into missile launchers to overwhelm He-Man in combat. And if you think he would stop at that, as Skeletor 2.0, he summoned multiple Techno-Titans simultaneously by merely punching the ground. Amidst the chaos, he also conjured a menacing scythe to intensify his assault on He-Man, and taking it further up a notch, just like Wolverine's adamantium claws, Skeletor's 2.0 claws are equipped with long wires which he wrapped around Adam, intending to end his life. However, at the very last moment, the late King Randor rose from the dead to intervene and save his son from Skeletor's malevolent grasp. Finally, it was He-Man's Sword of Power that defeated this iteration of Skeletor by absorbing all his dark magic and stripping him of all his powers, ultimately transforming him back to Keldor. Marvelous verdict. Honestly, I think Skeletor's character has been the highlight of the entire show and really stood up, holding on to his place as He-Man's one true antagonist. Although I think we needed to see more of Skeletek and his abilities, unfortunately, the time frame of the season could not support it. All in all, both Skeletek and Skeletor 2.0 are a win for me. What do you think about these versions of the mighty Lord of Destruction? Let us know in the comment box below. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.